Cover One, the NFL Draft Podcast. I am Russell Brown. Welcome to episode, 71, 72, something like that. But welcome to the show, guys. I told you we were going to be doing this twice a week now, Mondays and Fridays. And I know I'm jumping the gun. You're going to hear this on a Wednesday evening or potentially a Thursday morning or whenever you listen to it. I'm doing it 2 days early because I'm actually going out of town, going up to the cottage for Labor Day weekend, going to enjoy Week 1 of college football with cold beers, friends, and family. So it's going to be a good time, but I wanted to do today's show and get it out of the way, and I wanted to prepare you for Week 1 of college football. But before we get into any of the action and any of the news around the NFL today and the college football stuff, I want to offer you guys something very exciting that you're not going to get offered from a lot of podcasts right now, because there's a brand new daily fantasy site out there, and it is ThriveFantasy. All I want you guys to do is open up your web browser, whether it's Safari on your MacBook or your Google Chrome, whatever it is that you have, and I want you to type in bit.ly/Russ NFL Draft. Russ would be with a capital R, and then NFL would be capitalized with a capital D, and then draft. But it's bit.ly/Russ NFL Draft. Once you open this browser, I want you to, or after you type in that link, I want you to create a username, deposit $10, get matched up to $10, and find the unique prop bets for top premier players across the MLB, NBA, and the NFL. Across all those games, there's certain prop bets, and that's what Thrive Fantasy lives off of. They find these prop bets as far as how many yards a player is going to throw, how many free throws a player is going to make, whatever it may be. There's going to be an over and under, the pluses and the minuses, all the great betting lines that there are. This is a great way to get better with the way that you bet. And it's very simple. Again, you go to bit.ly/Russ NFL Draft. That would be essentially your promo code or your promo link, however you would want to term that. And again, create a username, deposit $10. They will match you $10 for your $10 deposit. And then you get to just play some of the most premier games across the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. There's only a month left of baseball, so enjoy it while you can. But we are 8 days away from the NFL kicking off, so enjoy that now. Consider this maybe some play money and win big, however you'd want to do it. It's only $10. You deposit 10, you get matched 10. Use the link that I provided. You can also download the app after you create a username through your link. It's very, very easy. You can find them in the App Store. I have them today. So the best way to do it is to go to bit.ly/Russ NFL Draft, sign up, deposit $10, get matched the $10, and win big and thrive in daily fantasy sports with Thrive Fantasy. So it's an exciting time, like I said, with Thrive Fantasy. Go ahead and get that going. But it's a pretty newsworthy day across the National Football League. And I'll start at the very top, a pretty serious topic, but that's with Mychal Kendricks, linebacker of the Cleveland Browns. He signed a 1 year, I believe it was $2.5 million deal with Cleveland when the season started, or when the offseason started. He had spent 6 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, he has been arrested today for insider trading. And if you don't know what that means, that's basically when you have a partner or somebody giving you inside information regarding the stock market and where you should be investing your money. It could be in numerous different accounts. It could be 4 accounts, 5 accounts. It could be anything. And he invested, I believe, up to $10,000 and made a return of $1.2 million. So I don't have the specifics as far as the amount of jail time he could see, but I would think right now his season for 2018 is probably over unless he has a very good defense. And maybe he gets only a serious fine and some probation or something. But I would have to think a guy that's made millions of dollars across the course of his career is probably not looking good on this side with a $1.2 million return with the insider trading. So some serious serious stuff going on there with him in Cleveland, and it'll be interesting to see how that's addressed with Hard Knocks being on HBO with the Cleveland Browns. But very unfortunate for a very talented player, and it's definitely a bad look on him. I believe he has stated that he's learned his lesson and that he won't do that again, but this is something that dates back from a couple of years back. So a very bad idea by him. It's going to be interesting to see how this all kind of boils down to as far as jail time and potential fines and things like that. So unfortunate news, but some better news is that the New York Jets traded Teddy Bridgewater today to the New Orleans Saints for the third-round pick of 2019 that New Orleans had. Unfortunate for New Orleans as far as the draft goes. You lose a first-round pick because you moved up and got Marcus Davenport. You lose a third-round pick for a quarterback. But I will tell you guys, I think this is a fantastic move for this football team. The New Orleans Saints have a window, a Super Bowl window, if you will, where it's going to close relatively fast. And it's closing pretty much by the day because Drew Brees is approaching 40 years old daily. He'll be 40 by the end of the year. But this is a great move because New Orleans gave up a third-round pick where there's always uncertainty, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. And when you look at the last couple of drafts in the NFL, the last couple of NFL drafts, you find third-round picks as far as the quarterbacks go to be average at best. And I know that, some of these guys, there's still some time. There's still some time to find out exactly what they are. But if you go to my Twitter page, at Russ NFL Draft, you'll see this tweet from a couple of hours ago where I basically state the last couple of quarterbacks that have been taken in the third round over the last few years in the NFL Draft. Starting with 2018, Mason Rudolph was a third-round pick. In 2017, Davis Webb and C.J. Beathard were third-round picks. In 2016, Jacoby Brissett and Cody Kessler were third-round picks. And in 2015, Sean Mannion and Garrett Grayson were third-round picks. So there is definitely, some serious concern when it gets into that part of the draft where you're like, where do we go? What direction do we go for a quarterback position? Because you just don't know. You're not getting, the Jared Goffs of the world there. You're not getting those guys. Maybe one of these guys turns out to be that, but you never know. And certainly when you look at the Saints, when they were entering the 2019 NFL draft discussion, even if quarterback was the highest need on their board because of Drew Brees being 40, well, there's no guarantee that they were going to be in position to get a guy like Drew Lock, Jared Stidham, or Justin Herbert, or Ryan Finley, or Brian Lewerke, or Will Grier. Now, obviously, all these guys are not going in the first round, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways because they didn't have a first-round pick to begin with. So now they put themselves in position. They get a former first-round pick in Teddy Bridgewater, and it costs them a third-round pick, but there's a pretty good certainty that he's the future of this team as far as the quarterback position goes for at least a year or two, especially if this is Drew Brees' last hurrah, which it very well could be. I would think Drew Brees, as competitive as he is, he would probably want to play up until he's 45, 50. But realistically, we know that's not going to happen. Maybe 42 at best, maybe 43, but I don't see that happening. I think this could be it for Drew Brees, and I think this is an indication that, maybe there's some telling signs. And I know he's a free agent after the year, Teddy Bridgewater, that is, but if they can re-sign him, which I think they should, I think this is a great deal. You get a quarterback right now that's 25 years of age. He'll be 26 when the season's over. You re-sign him to, let's say, a 2 or 3 year deal. Maybe he plays a little bit if you have some lopsided wins. You get a taste of what he can do. He learns this offense, and I get it. Sean Payton's offense, the verbiage, it's long, it's complicated stuff down there in New Orleans, but he fits it, and I think this is a great move by them. I love this move by them. I was shocked when I saw it. The tweet earlier where there was the Jets bus basically told him about the trade. He waved to them, and they drove off in the bus, and that was it. And he leaves New York, and he's going to New Orleans now. Again, third-round pick will always have people going, what the hell? We could be spending this pick on a corner, a defensive end. It doesn't really matter, does it? You got a quarterback for potentially the future. And he's had some serious health concerns as far as the knee goes, but you would have to think he's going to bounce back. I think he will. And there was a chance that he could have been the starter in New York with the Jets. But Sam Darnold, I think, is definitely their guy. They love what they see from him, and that's their quarterback of the future. So at this point in time, though, this is a great move for New Orleans, especially if they can re-sign him, potentially to a cheap deal if it's 2 or 3 years. Maybe they only get him at a deal that's maybe $6 or $7 million per year. That's fantastic for a quarterback in today's market. And the reason why I say that is because I've got more news in the NFL, believe it or not, and that is with Aaron Rodgers. He re-signed with the Green Bay Packers today on a 4-year, $134 million deal. It could become $180 million when it's all said and done because of bonuses and incentives and things like that. But definitely well-deserved to potentially the best quarterback in the NFL. Definitely one of the I would have to say outside of Tom Brady, he is the best quarterback in the NFL. But Aaron Rodgers, phenomenal player, gets a good deal. As far as he is concerned financially, this obviously will hurt the Packers in the salary cap way of things, but it's a good deal all the way around. And I know, Aaron Rodgers isn't getting any younger, but this deal had to happen or he was going to leave. And I think this is a good way to ensure that he's healthy, he's ready to go. And the Green Bay Packers, with the way that they address their defense with Jair Alexander, Josh Jackson, this team is legit in their secondary, I think, as far as those two corners go. They've been very promising in the preseason, and I know it's the preseason, but I love their 5th-round pick, Jamal Williams. I think he's fantastic. He was my 4th-ranked or 5th-ranked running back 2 years ago. I believe it was, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, and Jamal Williams. So, yeah, he was running back 4. And shortly behind him was Corey Clement, who looks to be pretty good for Philadelphia. But that's a topic for another day, right? Again, this is a very talented Green Bay team. They've got Jimmy Graham at tight end, which I love for them. They've got Mercedes Lewis, which I love. They're running a lot of double tight sets where they're running the football efficiently. They've got Aaron Jones. Ty Montgomery, I'm sorry, I'm not sold on that. But with Devontae Adams, Jamon Moore, some of the younger receivers that they have, this is a good football team. And you add Aaron Rodgers into the mix, especially a healthy Aaron Rodgers, anything can happen for Green Bay. So this is a good deal. And it's been an interesting day in the NFL front. But Teddy Bridgewater to New Orleans, Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay, and Mychal Kendricks to a federal prison. So a very interesting day, to say the least, across the NFL. But I want to get into week 1 of college football. I want to talk about a couple of prospects and get some picks in for week 1. And I want to do that. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about Cover One, the app. I know I've talked about it many times on this podcast, many times, and it's been out for a couple of months now. So the question is, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you gotten the Cover One app? Furthermore, why haven't you become a premium member across the board for CoverOne.net? So I'll start with the app. Very simple, guys. Go to your app store, whether it's iTunes or whether it's Google Play, whatever it is, however you access it. It's very simple. The word cover and the number 1. Search it, find it, download it. Very easy. Once you do, you'll stay up to date with all the fresh NFL content that we have, all the NFL draft content that we have, all the college football content that we have. The podcasts are on there. So many ways to be linked to CoverOne.net, and the easiest way to do it is by downloading the Cover One app. So download it today. It's very simple, free of charge. However, I want to run this by you. Premium content plans, okay? Premium content, I know, it sounds boring, it's the same spiel, but this is something different because CoverOne.net isn't just any ordinary website. We do everything that you can think of when it comes to football, from the X's and the O's to our podcasts, to the NFL draft, to the Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants in specific, the Dallas Cowboys in specific. Those are some specific teams that we highlight on a daily basis. 3 of the biggest teams in football. But we also focus on other teams as well, from the Detroit Lions to the New England Patriots to the Oakland Raiders, all the way across the board. We might cover your favorite team, and the best way to get the content, to make sure that it's not just some free article, is to become a premium member. So hit the left tab when you go up to the website or on the app. Hit the left tab, and when you do, you will find the little drop-down bar, the premium content plans. Check it out, and I promise you, I'm not just trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to sell you something bad. I'm trying to tell you about something that's going to make you more knowledgeable when it comes to the game of football, and it's going to help you with everything from the draft to the X's and the O's all the way across the board. And the best way to do it is become a premium member. So when you hit that left drop-down button and you find, or the drop-down button in the upper left corner, once you do that and you hit the content plans and you check it out, you'll see that there's a $1 monthly fee Tier 1 plan. There's a $5 fee every single month for Tier 2. But then you'll also see Tier 3 where there's a $10 one-time fee where you're covered for the entire year. Tier 3 is great content. It'll get you into a lot of the NFL draft stuff, a lot of the X's and the O's. But then the unlimited tier is Tier 4, where you get all 4 tiers. You get access to our Slack channel. You get to interact with myself, Eric Turner, Christian Page, Rob Quinn, all the guys, Nate Geary. You can tell him about his hair and everything else. But furthermore, you get the best content on the web. And it's very simple. Pay the one-time fee of $25. And think about that. If you pay a monthly fee for the newspaper every single Sunday, whether it's $2, $3, if it's the New York Times, the Detroit Free Press, whatever it is that you have, it's going to be what? $24, $36 throughout the year, whatever the fee is. Pay the one-time fee now for $25. Become a top-tier member of CoverOne.net. Do it now before football season begins, and do it now before all the premium content locks up on you. You can obviously join anytime. You can cancel anytime. You can also get a free trial. So do it today. Download the CoverOne app, become a premium member today, and stay covered with CoverOne.net. So jumping into week 1 of college football, we are officially here. I cannot wait. Now, Christian Page and I, we've been discussing over the last couple of days of what players we're going to cover throughout week 1 and some matchups, and we'll have some fire content coming your way this week. No doubt about it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, stuff that's going to be coming out your way regarding some of the games this weekend. But I want to cover 2 players in specific that I think are going to be, I think they're going to put on quite the highlight reel for week 1. And I'm going to start at the top of the board. And I don't want to go with every single game. I don't have time to do that, obviously. And I don't think you're going to want to listen to me talk about every single game. But this game is a little bit under the radar. And I think there's some very talented players in this game. And that is Northern Illinois at Iowa. This game, again, like I said, isn't going to make you say, oh, I have to watch this game. No, you can probably DVR it and you can watch it at a later time, but there's 2 players in this game specifically that I think are very talented. And these are guys that are maybe not on everybody's radar right now, but they should be. And I'll start at the top, and the guy that I think is more superior, and that is edge rusher Sutton Smith, who I think is a fantastic edge rusher. At 6'1", 237, he's that stand-up edge guy, kind of like Clay Matthews light, not as efficient, not as consistent as Clay Matthews was coming out of USC, but last year for Northern Illinois, he had 63 tackles, 30 tackles for loss, 14 sacks, 3 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 touchdowns with 3 forced fumbles. There's a good chance against this Iowa offensive line that lost James Daniels, and this is a team right now that has some offensive tackles that are banged up. There's a chance that Sutton Smith goes into this Iowa game and racks up 6 or 7 tackles with 2 or 3 sacks, 3 or 4 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, a pass deflection, and a touchdown. There's a very good chance that this guy puts a touchdown on the board himself. He is very talented, a little bit undersized, might not have that ideal length for an edge rusher, but this guy is electric, high motor, always working his hands, always trying to get after the quarterback. He's a smart football player. I have been very pleased with everything that I've seen with him. I would like to see some more power. I would like to see him to translate speed to power, but I think he does a really good job with a pass rush plan, some counter moves. He's very talented. Sutton Smith is certainly a player to know. MAC Defensive Player of the Year last year. He is certainly a player to know entering this season. And, I mean, call me crazy, but there is a chance that he could join guys like Jimmy Ward and Larry English as first-round picks out of Northern Illinois for the NFL draft. So, again, call me crazy, but Sutton Smith week 1 against Iowa, that's banged up offensive line-wise, I love it. So pay attention to him. Another name to pay attention to is in the exact same game, and that is edge rusher Anthony Nelson out of Iowa. Okay, this guy has got the length. He's 6'7", 271. That's what he's listed at. Okay, 41 tackles this past year, 9.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, 5 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. I love this guy because he's always reading, reacting. He's got his eyes up, and he's always looking for the football. Now, he's not the most electric player. He's not as fast as Sutton Smith. He plays the edge rusher role a little bit more stout. He's a little bit more efficient when it comes to stopping the run, but he is a talented player, and I think against this Northern Illinois offensive line, he could also have himself a field day. So I like what I've seen from him thus far on tape throughout the summer. Again, he's not lights out. He's not out of this world. But he is a good player that does not get enough discussion right now. And, I mean, rightfully so. Ed Oliver, Rashawn Gary, Nick Bosa, a lot of talented players across the board when it comes to the defensive end position. But Anthony Nelson, Sutton Smith, 2 guys that certainly should be on your radar. They will make a couple of highlight plays guaranteed in week 1 of this college football season, so watch out for them. Some other prospects, if I'm getting technical, Duke quarterback Daniel Jones against Army. I think that should go without saying. It should be a good game as far as Daniel Jones is concerned. But Washington and Auburn, this is a very good football game. I love to see Myles Gaskin against Derek Brown. I just want to see that matchup. I like Derek Brown for Auburn a lot. Jared Stidham for Auburn, obviously, that goes without saying. Ryan Davis, their wide receiver. It'll be interesting to see what he does now that he should be fully healthy. And, you've got Jake Browning for Washington. Again, you've got players all the way across the board. Washington-Auburn is a 3:30 game on Saturday. It should be a very entertaining game. A.J. Dillon for Boston College, certainly a name to know for probably next year more than likely. And then you get to California versus North Carolina. There's some names there. Patrick Layard, I believe his name is, at the running back. Very north and south type of runner. I wrote about him in the Pac-12 running back column. The big game on Saturday night, Michigan, Notre Dame, Rashawn Gary, Chase Winovich, Lavert Hill, against the Notre Dame team that has Josh Adams. No more Josh Adams. They do have Wimbush still, but they don't have ESB. They've lost some players defensively. They lost their 2 best offensive linemen, Mike McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson. I'll get into this game when I get into the picks. I'm going to make a pick on this game. Of course, Friday night, you've got my boy Brian Lewerke against Utah State, Joe Bocci against them, L.J. Scott against them, Felton Davis, Darrell Stewart. No Josiah Scott, but you've got David Dowell. There's a couple of names for Michigan State on Friday night to pay attention to. And then Miami versus LSU. We'll get into this game as well on the picks. I've covered Miami's defense as far as Joe Jackson goes, Shaq Quarterman, Michael Pinckney, Michael Jackson. So many names on this defense. Jaquan Johnson, excuse me. So many names on this defense. It's going to be a lot of fun to see Miami against LSU. We'll get into the picks, and we'll get into those picks right now. So I want to get into the picks for week 1 and then get you out of here and have you enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy your Labor Day weekend as we prepare for college football finales here. Let's start with the picks, though. Northwestern and Purdue. This is an actual Thursday night game, so I'm excited. This one is tomorrow night or tonight, however you listen to this podcast, but it's Thursday night, 8 p.m. on ESPN, Northwestern at Purdue. If you live in the area of West Lafayette, Indiana, there's 732 tickets as low as $14 according to ESPN. But check it out.
on ESPN. That's Northwestern at Purdue. Northwestern, 1.5-point favorites. I think this one's pretty easy. Clayton Thorson, Pat Fitzgerald defense. They've got Patty Fisher there. There's some talented players on Northwestern all the way across the board. I like them over Purdue. I'm going to take them easily winning by 2 points or more for sure. Ole Miss and Texas Tech. Ole Miss is 2-point favorites in this game. I like Ole Miss to win this game, even though they're playing at Texas Tech. I like Ole Miss. A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, DeMarcus Lodge. That wide receiver trio is going to be tough to stop, and they should put up some big points. It could be a high-scoring game. I mean, this could be a 35-28 game. Either way, I like Ole Miss to win this one. Miami, Florida, and LSU Sunday night. Miami, Florida is 3.5-point favorites. I think that might be somewhat of a trap. Maybe this could be a field goal game, like 24-21. I'm curious where LSU is offensively. No more Darius Geis. I like Miami, Florida. They're my college football playoff team this year. I think they've got enough to get there. I like Malik Rozier. I like Travis Homer. I'm a big fan of Amon Richards. I think that this is a team that could make the college football playoff. I think that they can compete with Clemson in the ACC and make a run to win the ACC championship. 3.5 points, no problem. Give me Miami, Florida, even if it is 28-20. That's what I'm going to predict the score to be. Then Saturday night, though, U of M and Notre Dame. Man, oh man, this game is finally back for Wolverine fans. This is a game that they desperately need, in my personal opinion. They cannot start this season 0-1. I know there's a long season. They could win 11 games in a row. To be honest, that's unlikely. But they need this game because they have lost 18 in a row on the road to ranked opponents. This is a tough game for them. But I don't think Notre Dame is as good as we might make them out to be starting this year. Maybe Notre Dame pulls it out. This is a U of M team that's a 1-point favorite right now. These odds are coming from oddshark.com. U of M 1-point favorites. Give me U of M. I think that they might win this game by double digits. I'm going to say 24-10 Wolverines. And then this is my upset. I don't know if this is necessarily an upset, but I can't leave my boy KJ Carter Samuels out of the podcast. Colorado State, 7.5-point underdogs against Colorado. They're playing in Fort Collins, Colorado. Give me the Rams of Colorado State winning this game, and I just like it. Colorado State with KJ Carter Samuels. I had to do an upset pick, so definitely drop a comment below with some of your picks for the weekend. I might be dropping something next Monday as far as a season-long contest for the NFL goes for somebody to become a premium subscriber on my tab for cover1.net. So I will let you know what that is, maybe on Monday or maybe sometime next week like Friday. But we will see what happens. You guys leave a great comment in the comment section, rate on iTunes, subscribe on iTunes to Cover One the NFL Draft podcast. Make sure you go to Twitter, find my Twitter handle at Russ NFL Draft, smash the follow button, stay up to date with all your NFL Draft content with me at Russ NFL Draft on Twitter, also on cover1.net. Download the app, check out Thrive Fantasy. All this great stuff is coming to you from cover1.net. Guys, I'm Russell Brown. This has been Cover One the NFL Draft podcast. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. I will talk to you guys next week.